Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another music class. It's a video. All right, let's go ahead and keep some things in mind. We are champs, and what champs know how to do? Champs know the conversation level, how to get help, what activity they should be working on, how to move safely in the music room, and most of all, how to show that you are participating. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our champs music pledge. Repeat after me. I will always try my best. I can learn something new. I will achieve my goals. All right, let's go ahead and get into this lesson. Holla! All right, boys and girls. So for today, our goal is to learn about some composers, and these particular composers, their pieces are going to be performed by our very own Greensboro Symphony Orchestra sometime within the next couple of months. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to learn about the composers. Now, composers are people that write the music. All right, so it's about 6 or 7 different composers that the Greensboro Symphony Orchestra is going to be performing for us. So let's get into that. Just switch my screen here. All right, so this is the lineup for the Greensboro Symphony 2022 performance. So the first person, the composer, his name is Mr. Kevin Day, and the song that they're going to be playing of his is called Light Speed. What do you think about when you hear that title, Light Speed? All right, so he is an American composer, conductor. That's the person that has the baton in their hand, that's at the front, telling the musicians what to do through their body movements and stuff. Okay, so he's a composer, conductor, producer, and a multi-instrumentalist on tuba, euphonium, jazz piano, and more. That means he can play a whole lot of instruments. He was born in Charleston, Virginia, and he has composed over 200 works. That's a lot. He also won 3rd prize for the 2020 New Classics International Young Composer Contest at Moscow Conservatory. That's in Russia. All right, then we will be hearing a piece by composer Cindy McTee. And the piece that they're going to perform by her is called Fisher's Hornpipe. So she is an American composer. She was born in 1953 in Tacoma, Washington. Growing up, she listened to her parents perform. So her father played trumpet and her mother played the clarinet. That's cool. She came from a musical family. And she began piano lessons at the age of 6. And sidebar, if you're able to take piano lessons, that's really good, because when you get older, you will always have a way to make some money on the side by playing at weddings, churches, school events. So that's a good thing if you ever learn how to play piano, y'all. Just keep it in the back of your mind. All right, moving on. She studied composition at Pacific Lutheran University, Yale School of Music, and the University of Iowa, where she received her doctorate degree, her PhD, under the tutelage, that means under being a tutor of the Polish composer, Mr. Penderecki. And she currently lives in St. Louis, Missouri. All right, so our next composer is Mr. Rossini. And so we will be listening to the famous William Tell Overture. So he was born in Italy in 1792. He learned music from his parents. His father played the horn and trumpet, and his mother was an opera singer. And so Rossini learned to play piano and sing. Again, it's so cool. He came from a musical family. So he wrote his first opera when he was 18 years old. And so an opera is kind of like a play, like if you go see people perform on stage in a play, but except for saying the words in the opera, they sing all the words, and it's usually in Italian, French, or German. Okay. So his most famous opera is The Barber of Seville. And Rossini's last opera was William Tell Overture, which was written in 1829 during the Romantic period in music history. And he passed in November of 1868. I think you like this next one. So this composer, his name is Mr. Alan Silvestri. And he composed music for the Avengers movie. How many of you have seen that? Yeah. So it says he was born in New York City, and he has composed music for over 100 films. So that's a really cool job to have as a composer, to be able to just not only compose music for people to play in symphonies for performances, but to write music for movies and even television. Because you can think about, each time you watch a show, it usually has a theme song that goes with it. Well, a composer has to compose that theme song. So that would be a neat job to have. All right, so some of his most famous film scores, that's music that he has created for films, include Disney's Lilo and Stitch, The Night at the Museum, that's a funny movie, The Avengers, and The Polar Express. Raise your hand if you have seen any of those movies. Okay, well, when you listen to those movies, you are hearing music that he composed. Let's look at this next bulletin. So he has received 2 Oscar nominations. That's huge. 2 Golden Globe nominations, 3 Grammy Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, and numerous International Film Music Critic Awards, Saturn Awards, and Hollywood Music and Media Awards. Wow, he has really won a lot. And he currently lives in California with his wife, Sandra. We have a few more composers that we will hear their music. All right, and so one is Lee Wiesert, and he composed a song called The Echo King. And so when he composes music, he uses not only traditional instruments, but also electronic music as well. He is an associate professor in the music department at UNC Chapel Hill. That's not too far from us. And recent music incorporates orchestral instruments, found sounds, field recordings, digital synthesis, and analog circuitry. So his music is really modern. So right here where it says found sounds, that means, for example, I could take like clapping my hands, or I could take, let's say I take a paper clip and tap it against the desk. It creates a sound, right? I could consider that a found sound. Then the other part where it says field recordings, let's say, for example, I wanted the sound of a bird. That means I would take my recorder out, outside and actually record, birds chirping. So he includes all of these really cool things in his music. And also digital synthesis. With that, he makes electronic music on his computer. So a lot of cool things. All right, our next composer that we will hear from is Mr. Kenneth Amis, and his song we will hear is called Bell Tones Ring. He was born in Bermuda, and he began playing piano at a young age, and took up the tuba in high school. And he is the youngest recipient of New England Conservatory of Music's Outstanding Alumni Award. And he currently teaches at 6 universities. Oh, wow, that's a lot. All right, so now our next composer is super duper famous in the film music world, and that is Mr. John Williams. And so from him, we're going to hear the suite from Harry Potter. How many of you all have seen the Harry Potter movie? Well, there's several of them, yeah. So he is an American composer. He was born in Queens, New York in 1932. He also served in the U.S. Army, the U.S. Air Force, from 1951 to 1954. And he holds honorary degrees from 21 American universities. That means his work was really great. He composed the music and served as music director for more than 100 films. And some of his most famous works include the score for E.T., Jaws, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, the BFG, and the first 3 Harry Potter films, and Superman the movie, and Star Wars. Wow. He received 5 Academy Awards, 7 British Academy Awards, 22 Grammys, 4 Golden Globes, 5 Emmys, numerous gold and platinum records, and 50 Oscar nominations. Wow. So if you have seen the first 3 Harry Potter films, then you have heard his music that he composed. And then I think we have one more. Yes, we have one more. Okay. And so this composer is Mr. Arturo Marquez. And so his song that we're going to hear is called Conga del Fuego Nuevo. And he is a Mexican composer. He was born in 1950 in Alamo, Sonora, Mexico. And he incorporates Mexican musical forms and styles into his compositions. And in February 2006, he received the Medalla de Oro de Bellas Artes, Gold Medal of Fine Arts. So that is awesome. All right, so now that I've told you about the composers, now we are going to listen to some of their compositions. All right, so I'm gonna switch my screen one more time here. All right, so let's start with, where is it? The first one, Mr. Kevin Day. And again, the name of his song is called Light Speed. And after I play it, I want you to, well, as I play, I want you to be thinking, does the title match what you hear? And again, the title is called Light Speed. All right, so I'm going to pause it here. All right, so do you think that the title Light Speed matched what you heard? You would say yes, I definitely do agree, because especially at the beginning, the music was very fast, and what the musicians were performing was very fast speeds and stuff. So, all right, now let's go to another composer's music. All right, now let's go over here. This one I just had the audio for, but this is the song Fisher's Hornpipe by the composer Cindy McTee. So just listen to this one. All right, so that was again Cindy McTee's Fisher's Hornpipe. Now we're going to go to the William Tell Overture. And so this one is kind of cool. I'm with this ad to go off. That instead of just listening to the music,
Your work can feel much smoother with Monday.com WorkOS.
As well. So
this
let's
smooth.
see if their drawing fits the music. Again, this is the William Tell Overture by Rossini. Has somebody heard this before? So what do y'all think about that? That was so cool. I liked how the artist, the person who drew this, how he really put the music and the movements together. And this is also what a person, especially old school cartoonists, would have to do when they were putting it together with the music. You know, they'll think about the music goes high, and make sure that my character is doing something, reaching up. But yeah, that was awesome. All right, let's see, what else do we have? Let's go to our next composer. Let me see, who is this? Oh, this is Mr. Silvestri and his song that he wrote for the Avengers movie. Let's check this out. All right, does anybody know what part of the movie that was from? That was cool. All right, let's see, we have a few more here. All right, so now I want to go to the one by Mr. Kenneth Amos, and this is called The Bell Tones Ring. Skip ahead a little bit here for you. She's just announcing it. Okay. We have two groups performing together. Yes, the Empire Brass Group and the U.S. Air Force Band. All right, so let's go to another one here. All right, so I had to change my screen one more time. Give me 1 second. Let's see. So hopefully you all will get a chance to see these compositions live one day. All right, I have one up to share. So next we're going to listen to one of the Harry Potter themes by the composer John Williams. All right, let me pull up one more for us. Let me see if I can find the one from Mr. Marquez. Oh, that one has not pulled up yet. So let's go ahead and watch a little bit of the Harry Potter theme. And so this is the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone suite, that part of the movie. All right, so I'm gonna pause it here. All right, so now, boys and girls, for any of the compositions that I played for you all today that maybe is in a movie, I think it would be awesome if you could find out what scene in the movie they use the music. That would be really cool. All right, so there's one more thing that I wanted to share. So a lot of times when you think of instruments, you think, oh, they can only play one style of music. But that's not true. They can play all different types of styles. So there's a violin duo, and they play hip hop music on their violin. And they go around, they perform at schools, and they give concerts and things like that. So I wanted to share one of their performances. And the name of the group, they call themselves Black Violin. This is one of their videos. So you see the last guy, he has an electric violin. And if you want to look them up on YouTube, the name of the group is called Black Violin. Black Violin. This song is called A Flat. Boys and girls, that is all for today. All right, and if you like this last week, the name is called Black Violin. It's called A Flat. All right, well, take care. You have an awesome, wonderful rest of your day and week. Thank you for being great.